Good evening, laser fans. I'm going to talk about something interesting, at least to me, this evening. So a lot of you may be familiar with the game Splatterhouse here. This is the PC Engine version. One of my absolutely favourite games, steeped in nostalgia for sure. I was lucky enough to live near an arcade growing up in Southsea, Portsmouth, that had Splatterhouse arcade games, so I was well versed by it. I mean, I say well versed, I was a child, but definitely familiar with it. Played it a fair bit every time we went down there. And also, when I got my PC Engine in 1992, my Core Graphics 2, we ordered Splatterhouse as the first game I got for it from Advanced Console Entertainment in London. I've got a bone to pick with them though. It wasn't until I got Splatterhouse again later in life on the PC Engine that I realised they'd actually sold me, well, Advanced Console Entertainment had sold us a bootleg of this from a company called King. I'll put a snapshot of here up there. Well, obviously it doesn't say PC Engine from my memory. It doesn't say Namco for sure. And the manual was like a large pull-out, so like the small size we got here folds out into like a one large poster style thing for the instruction manual. And obviously here for Splatterhouse it's just a normal flick manual. So yeah, I didn't realise that till much later on, those fucking bastards. Anyway, by the by, it didn't stop my enjoyment of it. And indeed, if you can look up here, we've got a poster of it up here. So big fan. Really, I've played this so much more than the arcade version over the years that this is the one I'm really familiar with. You know, I play the arcade version on MAME here and there, but we've got something interesting that you might be interested in. This is another version of Splatterhouse. So, you may have seen this artwork floating about if you're interested in these kind of things. They use this artwork for the PC Engine ROM hack, Splatterhouse Chrome, which was, I think, someone put it out on CD as a bootleg or an indie game essentially. But it was actually, that artwork was taken from this version here, which is a 2000 release for the Windows PC in Japan only. So this is a 2003 release, I believe, from MediaKite. I understand it was also released again a year later in like a long box DVD style case form. So we're going to focus on this. So this is an officially licensed version of Splatterhouse from Namco, put out by these guys, MediaKite, who I've since learned they've done loads of Windows conversions around this sort of time, especially in the early 2000s. You can get a lot of Namco games. Like, apart from this, you can get Pac-Land, Pac-Man, Tower of Juaga, Xevious. There's loads. They put out games from other companies, like I've seen City Connection from Jellicoe. There's plenty out there. But this version specifically is for Windows. It says it's compatible with Windows 95, 98, ME, 2000 and XP. But I've also tested it on Windows 7 and Windows 10 where it does run. I've had a problem, Windows 11 I've tested it on even, and 7. I've had a little bit of problem trying to get it in full screen on Windows 11, but I've got it in full screen fine in Windows 7. Both using compatibility mode for Windows 98, which is a must. The compatibility mode for XP doesn't seem to work for whatever reason. So just have a little look at the garb here. So there's your game. Got some screenshots on the back. There's the specs you need. Obviously the specs we're using are much higher than this these days, obviously. Here's the back of the manual, so you can see MediaKite here. Copyright 1988 by Namco, and also 2003 when this release came out. There's your compact disc for Windows, only released in Japan. So what can we say about the quality of this release? If you know anything about Splatterhouse, it came out in the arcades in 1988. I think the PC Engine version might have been 1990, so that was the only home version that came out for a while. Until it came out for the FM Towns computer in Japan, ported by Ving, which is nigh on Arcade Perfect, I understand. I've never played that version. Very expensive now. This version's not too expensive at all. And as far as I can tell, this is nigh on Arcade Perfect. It might even be, they might even use the ROMs from the arcade version. We'll go through the folder lately. I can't see any actual evidence of an emulator being there. Maybe it's a port. I can't see any evidence that it's running an emulator, but who knows? It's very close to the arcade. Let's have a look through the menu. Obviously a lot of text is Japanese, so get your Google Lens out if you want to translate it like I've been doing. It does support USB pads out of the box. I've been using a USB Saturn pad. So this just takes you through the installation of various manuals, menus, sorry, let's get past this stuff. So a lot of this stuff, which is a cool thing, when you install it, you get a lot of the stuff that's in the manual in an HTML file that you can just open up in a browser. So obviously it just shows you, we've got cool artwork in the background here. It's showing you all the weapons, showing you the different creatures throughout the game. We'll have a closer look at them later. Showing you all the levels there. The weapons. Yeah, all this is on the online manual. Well, not an online manual, but the sort of installed manual. So, let's look at the game in action. So here I'm going to show you the installation folder for Splatterhouse on the PC. So we've got Media Kite and then Splatterhouse, and then the first thing you'll see is this help folder. And in here you can see all these HTML files. And like they say, there's stuff about yourself, all the enemy characters in here. Look at these gross babies and the blobs and the wolves and the sea dudes, and the spotlights and the blue U and the witches and the Jesus cross. It's like a severed hand, a witch, some creepy buggers, some weird fetus things, some dudes on fire, and then the levels. Shows you all the levels here. Pretty short game, Splatterhouse, to be honest. This just shows you some of the configurations. The resolution's available, only 640 by 480 that I've been able to find so far. Can't figure out how to get any resolution higher than that. Here's configuration for the controls. You do need to tick that box in the bottom left to enable the joypad, but you can define the keys and the joypad buttons. Here's the stuff for like the start button, the credit button, resetting the game, full screen options, window options. There's the title. Just some blurb about the game. I think we're going to see the index is what we should have started with, but from here you can select all the others. So let's just have a quick flick through. See a Japanese blurb about the game. Get your translating head on if you can. Here's all the moves you can do. So look, you can face the back wall, you can duck, punch, kick, flying kick, slide, slice. Here's the weapons you can pick up in the game. There's some gumph, God knows what that's about. And there's some final gumph. So let's have a look through the other folders. So this one suspiciously says ROMs. Like I mentioned earlier, is this just a ROM of the arcade game that's been hacked? I can't see any evidence of this having an emulator, unless it's baked into the exe file. So I don't really know. Unsure about that. This is interesting in the sound folder, so you can hear sound effects from the game. All the voices. It's interesting that all the voices and the sound clips are laugh samples. So a lot of the sound effects, some of the speech, and as we go down, you'll see that some of these are in fact music. Let's have those all laid out. Some music for other stuff. Might even use it for this video. You might be listening to it now, unless I've changed my mind. So go back, take a quick look at the INI file. I was hoping that you'd be able to set the resolution here, but there's not an entry for it. So that window is basically where the actual windowed game appears on your desktop. Options for full screen. If you've ever mucked about with an INI file, this is a very simple one. But you do need to give yourself full rights on this file if you want to muck about with it via the security options in Windows. And obviously, like I mentioned before, on the EXE here, you've got to set the compatibility mode in Windows 7 and 11, and probably 10 for 98/ME. I have tried the one for XP and it just throws up all sorts of errors. So yeah, stick with compatibility mode for 98. It'd been interesting to actually try it out on XP, but maybe we'll get that done one day. And there you go, just showing you the drop downs. Let's get started with the game then. So looking very arcadey with that insert coin, but also obviously they've edited something here if they are using the wrong, because it says 2003. Here's the arcade intro, something that's missing from the PC Engine version. In that you just see the house, but in this bit in the arcade you see them running through the trees here into the house. So you can whack your credits in either via a drop-down menu or a button on the controller if you've configured it that way. This bit is also missing from the PC Engine version, I think, where the mask goes on the face. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that. And we're straight in. So you can tell detail-wise this is a million miles away from the PC Engine version, which I'll die over. Fantastic version, but you can't deny the arcade version is so much more intricate and detailed. There's so much more sort of grain in the background, so many more, well, there's more enemies everywhere for a start. The PC Engine version is a bit light on enemies and is quite easy in places. This is not exactly massively difficult, but it's just kind of embellished. Like in the PC Engine one, you just get a few section of bats here, but there's like multiple rows of these spikes and bats on different levels. You can see the lady in the background struggling to get out there. It's just a lot more hectic. You can change the difficulty from the drop-down menus. Look at that as you splat these buggers against the wall. In the PC Engine version, yeah, you can just run up the stairs in this one, but in the PC Engine version you have to defeat those two guys. Here we go, a room full of death. You've got to fight off these bloodsuckers. Just a baby corpse hanging in the background, no problem. Yeah, I might meet my doom here. But at least you get to see the animation of me coming back to life, right? That's why I deliberately died. No. So here we go, let's get through this pretty quick, smartish. Pretty easy level, but sometimes you get yourself caught in the wrong position. In the PC Engine one, you can just stay in one spot and you can tap left and right with your attack to get through this pretty quick. This one's slightly more challenging. Not greatly though. But as you can tell, if you're familiar with the arcade version, the graphics in this one are pretty much spot on. Again, these mid, sort of in-between stage screens aren't in the PC Engine version, so good that everything from the arcade one's in this. Those details count, I tell you. I mean, the gore levels in this are out of control. I understand this did come to the TurboGrafx 16, the American PC Engine version, in the USA, obviously. They kept a lot of the gore in now, I think. I mean, this is just gore heavy. I mean, the guy, you know, growing up, you look at this and you think, that guy is Jason Voorhees, is he not? How can he not be? And obviously it's designed around that. But actually in this game, you're Rick, you're a good guy. You've escaped to this place with your girlfriend, you're chased out the forest. Maybe they chase you towards this house, but you basically, the mask sort of possesses you, essentially. but you're a good guy. You're not Jason Voorhees by any standards. So drop down into this sewer-like stage. It's got really moody music, hasn't it? Really befitting of the scene here. And these sort of gruesome swamp monsters. Plus, what are these, mines? You know, these demons, really high on technology. Like World War II technology. Yeah, cool thing about this level, if you get hit and drop the stick, you can pick it up from the basin of the water. Just by pushing down. Sights are out, climb up these steps and into a real spooker's room. Look at this. This is really sort of horror movie stuff, isn't it? Maybe a little bit poltergeisty. Look at this. Attack of the Killer Chairs. So, not a very tough enemy at all. In fact, if you know where to stand in this level, it's pretty simple to get past this. I guess this room is a boss, for want of a better word. That's cool, you can whack them while you're down, while you're sort of bending down there. I don't think you can do that in the PC Engine version. You have to get them in flight when they come to you like this. And again, this mirror or picture is not very tough at all. Got to watch out. If you're under that dropping chandelier when it goes, you are dead. Or at least you take a hit. So out into the garden where there's more possessed shit and gruesome stuff. But look, a new weapon. We're going to pick up a shotgun, which is gnarly as hell. Look at that, just blow him away. Just literally explode his torso. Killer dogs on the loose. I mean, what even? Whoever designed the enemies in this, it's got something going on. Superb designs, absolutely gruesome. You want to watch out for these spotlights here. There are multiple ways to go through some of the levels. If you get hit by one of those spotlights, someone will grab you and pull you through to another dungeon level. You've got to get through. It just makes this level a bit longer, but cool to see if you want to. Got to avoid these pits. In the PC Engine one, I'm sure this baby pukes across the pit, and you've got to avoid that. I can definitely remember a bit where you pick up a stone and lob it through the baby. Are they babies or are they just weird? Look at this boss. Dual wielding chainsaws. Oh, I don't think I'm going to get through. I've got one piece of life left. There's not much hope for me, is there? Ah! Damn it. Okay, that's enough of in-game footage. Don't want to see the lot. You know, go and play Splatterhouse for yourself. Fire it up in MAME. Get this PC version if you want. Play it on the PC Engine. Whatever way you can do. Just play it. Also, check out Splatterhouse 2 and 3 on the Mega Drive if you can. Also, fantastic games. So I hope you've enjoyed that little look into this PC version of Splatterhouse. As you can tell, it's pretty fantastic, pretty close to the arcade. Great graphics, great sound. What more is there to say? Just keep it rad.